Oh, it already started? That makes no sense. When did it start? It's so disappointing. Oh, I'm live. Hello, everyone. So this is going to be, basically a live stream covering the global war as it goes down, and we're going to be tracking exactly what happens. Okay, so it seems I might have to log in for this. Oh no, the server's under heavy load, so we won't get anything done for at least 10 minutes, but that's fine because we should have seen the initial wars, and they should be visible on this page. Cool, and so we basically want to find the first one. Let's see. TKR versus WAP. That looks to me like... Oh, and TKR versus Eclipse. Okay. Yeah. That looks to me like this guy struck first. And I think he even struck before day change. So he technically broke the nap, but who really cares at that point? It's like 2 minutes. Aside from that, there are some other big developments which we'll be covering. I'm gonna switch one of these captures to Discord. Actually, can I do that? I don't know if I can. When globals go down, then usually there's a bunch of diplomatic stuff, so I don't know how much of that I can share. Knights Templar and Event Horizon have M leveled. Okay, that is a very interesting development. This treaty web is already looking like a monstrosity with this thing, and now KT and EVH. I thought they were already tied. Did they upgrade it from ODUAP to M level? I think so. I think that's incorrect. I think TKR actually struck first, just based on... Like, we can take a look. So, this is the first LOD raid, but like TKR struck first, so that's just incorrect. Based on the complex page, at the very least. I don't think Eclipse... I don't see any other wars here. Yeah, so my headcanon is TKR struck first. Specifically this guy, Ozio, the Red Thunder, which is a pretty good name for this particular conflict. But we could tackle the forum posts. I kind of want to have someone else on that could discuss it with me. That might be more interesting. Oh, I should share the stream. I don't even know where it is. Let's see. 2 minutes of technical difficulties. Hang here, and we'll do one an Inquirer. I don't even know where to put it in Inquirer. I'll put it in general. But okay, cool. So now we're actually waiting. So we have about 10 or 7 more minutes for more wars to be declared, for declarations of war to be posted, and for the sides to sort of come up with their last minute plans and execute their blitz sheets. But aside, oh, and also the defenders will have like 10 minutes to rally. But the strange part about this war, in contrast to most others, is that usually, yeah, you only have like 10 minutes to reckon with what's happened, right? You aren't aware that a war is coming, and then you have to suddenly militarize and prepare a response. In this case, everyone knew this war was coming, and so they attacked at exactly the same time. And their blitz sheets and all their other plans should have been very well established. The only exceptions to this are when diplomatic changes are made. So this KT-EVH thing would have changed the politics quite a bit, and this Penta cluster of chaos, that is also going to be changing things a fair bit as well. I think High Table also upgraded with EVH, or with TGH, which probably changes nothing, but is still entertaining. I'm going to join one of the Inquirer voice chats, so that way if any interesting people want to participate in the stream, they can. There we go, interest, voice, and we'll limit who can access it to people with the role. Oh, actually, people that are me, that's who can access it. Nice. We'll delete some of these other random voice chats. How do you have time to stream this? Everything's gonna like kick off, and it's like, well, I'll cover it live. You know, if it happens to involve us, it happens to involve us. If it doesn't, even better. I very much prefer not to be in a conflict right now. Let's see if I can log in. I might need to hide this for a minute so I can do password stuff. Okay. EVH just signed an MD and M with LOD. Okay, so that was the change. It wasn't just KG. Okay, that is interesting. I wonder why EVH is doing that. I wonder why they're tying into most of Wellsphere. Like, it could give them just a reason to hit TKR, but I don't know. I think they could already do that by themselves. Also, M levels are defensive, like they're not offensive. I guess TKR struck first, so maybe that's applicable. It would also sort of depend when the treaty is signed, though. Like, if they sign the treaty after TKR launched that first attack, the treaty is actually meaningless. Again, what am I thinking? It's my Politics&War account. Here we go. This is so we can go into the individual wars. Cool, and we will pull that back up. There we go. No, I don't care for notifications. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Where's the conflicts page? It's 7 minutes too. So has EVH actually attacked anyone? That is the big question. Because that might give us some insight into what the treaty was for, at least in my view. So the Immortals is hitting everyone. They seem to have a pretty good performance so far based on these very new numbers. Actually, these are all like nap breaches. Why am I giving people credit for these? This is just 100 nap breaches. So this is like 100 people that have messed up and attacked before day change. Okay. I'm gonna give Inquirer staff access to this. If they misbehave, I will kick them. Actually, what even is their staff role? It's a reporter, I think? Yeah. Okay, we will see how that goes. Some people are saying I predicted this. I did not entirely predict this. I got like 80% right. You know, I will take 80% of the credit for predicting this thing. But, I mean, this treaty bull stuff is not what I predicted. I could not have predicted this. I could not have predicted any of the EVH stuff. I was like mulling it over what EVH could be doing for a fair bit. I'm not talking too much about Eclipse and Guess TKI yet because this is sort of very predictable. The only interesting part will be the outcome, which should become clear within the first hour, like based on how many declares there are. I will grab a headset so I can hear people. Cool. What about this stream thing? Has anyone got any questions? So who's fighting who? It'd be House versus Well. Yep. EVH in 2 spheres is wild. Yep, there seems to be a fair bit of that going on. You might want to get something to remove element your resources. No, I don't care from what my resources are. Like, I don't have that many resources. If anything, I'll send myself a few more resources. But like spies in game, like your spies are visible. I have 0 spies. Like people just sabotage my spies, so there's no point hiding my resources. What am I thinking? Oh yeah, transfer resources. I'm gonna give myself some steel. Like you only should hide your resources if you're low on resources, and you have a reason to believe you can bluff. And I can't bluff, and even if I could, I have enough resources, so it doesn't matter. There we go. Nice. Let's see what else is what else is happening. So I have 2 million food on me. I was not preparing for this. Oh, I was preparing for this. Why would you have 2 million food on you? That's just gonna get raided away. It's a terrible decision. You should be trading that, or like throwing it to Yar or something to sell. I mean, I would sell it for you if I wasn't currently paranoid about how this is gonna go down. TKL LOD blitzed early fully. That would be a wild fucking event. And I can't believe I swore. Damn, I was trying to avoid that. Whatever. I can't believe they did that, if that's true. SFR just hit Eclipse. Okay, well, SFR is, and that's SFR Yugoslavia, which is a protectorate of the Lost Mines. That means the Lost Mines must be going in too. So I'm going to check where they're at. Like, that is one of the neutral parties. We didn't know what side they were going to be on. So this will be very interesting. The Lost Mines are on House's side. That's crazy. Wait, so who did you say Well as, not Well, did you say SFR was hitting LOD? Or who was it again? SFR just hit Eclipse. Okay, so Lost Mines is on the side of House. As much as I don't like the Lost Mines, that is actually a very smart decision on their part. Specifically because it could earn them either a treaty from House post-war, which gets them out of this sort of neutral limbo. Like they're a peripheral of WTF and Church of Adam. Like neither of these is reasonably like a strong city, a strong treaty. I'm getting my words mixed up again. Neither of these is a strong treaty, so TLM kind of needs a real ally, and the only way to get that is to fight in a war for usually a losing party, and then to basically get one through politics. But if they perform really badly in this conflict, then they won't get a treaty. Like, it doesn't matter what TKR promises them, they will not give them a treaty. So this is definitely a gamble on their part. An alternative strategy would have been to try and cozy up to one of the other spheres based on their tiering and their economics. So that's what they would do if they skipped the war. But their economy is kind of terrible, so I don't know if they could really appeal on that basis either. But yeah, I respect the decision. I think it's very smart. Okay, what did Bohan just post? I saw Sketchy's post, which I wanted to discuss with other people. TLM hit whelp for house. Okay, he's just repeating what I said. Cool. Bohan is randomly posting in a completely irrelevant Orbis Central thread. Where's the DOWs? That is a good question. Oh wait, it's 14 minutes past. I still have all my money, so I haven't been attacked yet, which is nice. I'm gonna check on my allies. I think that would be smart. And we can also check on what Penta is doing, and we'll check on the progress between these two. And we'll check Gato, and we would check... I guess we can check Syndicate, just in case. Who do we want to check from house? Sword Coast might be interesting. Because they're small, but they're also kind of unproven. So it'd be very interesting to find out if they perform super well or not so well. And this is very early, like this is only 5 minutes in. But sometimes you can tell from 5 minutes. Let's close some tabs. As for why the war decks aren't dropping immediately, my suspicion is that they'll drop over the next hour or two. And people will still be crafting them and recrafting them based on political changes that have happened in the past few hours. So yep, Singularity's not doing anything. Event Horizon hasn't gone in on TKR, which is kind of weird, if that's what they're going to do. Syndicate, I suspect they aren't going to do anything. They're less milled than EVH. And we can also check in on the Conflicts tab. There's a great Locutus command which should be able to track wars, but I don't know how many people are on either side, so I don't think I can really do that. We can try anyway. Let's try and do this Locutus war check. I think it's war stats. Generate ranking of opponents. We'll do the Immortals and we'll do Eclipse and we'll do 50 days. Oh, not 50 days, 3 days. Just in case. There's a random channel I can run this in. Three, two, one. Come on, load. Locutus is thinking. A 5-minute war, 10-month nap. 100%. If they sign a giant non-aggression pact after this, which is very much in the style of TKR, that would be immensely entertaining. I mean, this non-aggression pact was already quite entertaining. Another point of interest, I think, will be how the threads go down. So Bohan is right in that, like, there'll be a lot of like up votes and down votes being shared between the different sides. I think TKR has a lot of ammunition right now against different parties. Like, if I were in their shoes, I would be criticizing the Penta Sing thing, I would be criticizing EVH and Well, I would be criticizing TS and Rose for random stuff. I'd be criticizing everyone. But I'd also know, be keenly aware, that any criticism directed to any of those spheres is only going to hurt my ability to sort of pull them away from Eclipse, which hurts TKR's overall position. So it's entirely possible that they avoid saying much of anything in this conflict. That would probably be one of the smarter moves, albeit the less entertaining one. On Well's side, I don't think Well has any incentive to sort of play nice. I think they can just sort of go ham and like troll and make memes and stuff. People are getting cloud flares. Nice. I'm waiting for like the big bugs though. Let me know when like you can't access a war page or when you start seeing the game's code. Let's have a look at the offensive wars. I like to say that offensive wars are a better indicator of an alliance's performance than net damage, because offensive wars tend to indicate general activity or proactivity, whereas defensive wars are fundamentally reactive in nature. So they've done about 20 to 30 wars. That'd be my guess. Yeah, it's about half a page, so like 25, 30. That's not terrible. I mean, they're a 40-man alliance, and it's still in their first 10 minutes. But if people are declaring 2 wars each, which is what I would expect, then that's only like 15 people turning out. We could check on the member list. Okay, I was wrong. That's pretty good. And it's almost the entire alliance being active. It's only the new people that aren't. And a few random people in between. So very good. Well done. Is that Dusty Dot? It kind of looks like it. They have a lot of crazy people over in Sword Coast. Like, it is a very stacked alliance. In terms of, like, they have tons of former Gov from different people, and different leaders, and old players. So they should all be active, but you never know for sure. All the wild cards are dropping. I don't know about that. The wild cards are still in the, I don't know, they're in the deck. Like, they've revealed to some extent what they're doing, but not much. A TLM, I guess, showed their hand. Is how Stark participated? Like, that's another wild card which we haven't checked. I don't think any alliance has an incentive to delay their attack by a day. Like, it should all be dropping right now. So if there are alliances that aren't participating or that are chilling, my suspicion would be that they will hang around for a few days and then demill. That'd be my guess. Where am I going? What am I looking at? Here. Let's check the wars. Oh, we can also check Royal. They should be posting about some of the recent war decks, and there should be some like drama or discussion between the leadership. The server is kind of dead now, but this is a huge event, right? The Treaty of the Mines of Hesthin. Okay, cool. We have okay, well done. Well played. We all need to give a big round of applause to the Lost Mines. That is actually a genius move from them. Like, that is actually very hard to do, so well played. So what this is, if I'm not misunderstanding it, assistance. I think that just means defense. So, actually, we'll check if there's no P-arts in-game. Like, we'll just make sure that it's not a P-art. Okay, that's probably not a P-art. That is probably a treaty. Like a proper defensive treaty. What this means is that when TLM was talking to TKR about participating, then they asked for a treaty before or during the war, and not after it. That is such a huge win, because that means that even if TLM underperforms in this conflict, which I kind of expect it will, they're not a military alliance. They've always been bad at war, but whatever. It means that even if they underperform, they will have a treaty for at least 3 to 6 months after this thing, and that gives them some time to work with their new allies, build up enough of a reputation to survive into the future and to get some other more meaningful treaties. So well done. That is actually very impressive. If I were in TKR's shoes, though, I don't know if I would have done this. Because TLM is many things, but they're not terribly useful for TKR's purposes. Like, they're not super useful against Eclipse. Like, they're not a high tier alliance. And there's no sign of that changing. If anything, TLM's goal right now is to move the City 20s they have to City 30 range. Or to have the City 16s, I think, move to the City 25 range. Like, that is so out of the realm of TKR's interest. It is unbelievable. TKR's interest is like City 40. Or like late City 30s, like City 35. So yeah, huge win for TLM. Well done. Oh, and he posted a DOW too. Very cool. This should just be a meme post. Like, he actually has no incentive to like create any grudges by calling anyone out. Okay, so yeah, he's just bolstering one of TKR's earlier claims that the NAP is ridiculous, which already has a bunch of credibility across the game anyway, I feel. So, very strong DOW. Doesn't hurt the position at all. Yeah, very impressive on both counts. Nice, and then we have one from Dark Brotherhood, so we'll see how they fare. The Dark Brotherhood declares war on the Sword Coast for stealing OPSEC information for the Knights Radiant. Okay, so for context on this, I think this is to do with how the Sword Coast was in proximity to Dark Brotherhood and Singularity, and then they split off and joined TKR before Singularity and Dark Brotherhood and that area formed a Confederacy of Independent Systems in that sphere. So my guess would be either there was some war planning that was leaked, or there was some sphere planning, or something else. I should actually know this because I'm in CIS, but I don't. So either I've forgotten it, which is very likely, or it's actually Dark Brotherhood specific, which means it has nothing to do with CIS. But I don't remember there being a direct treaty between Dark Brotherhood and Sword Coast. I could be totally wrong, there could have been one. So that's my guess. That it's to do with some war planning or OPSEC planning from when, or war planning or diplomatic planning from when they were both in the same sphere, or close to the same sphere. That's pretty strong though. It's interesting that they're only declaring war on one party, rather than the whole. And that could be because like there's some treaty chess going on, and they don't want to attack the entirety of that sphere, or it could just be meaningless and they want to focus their DOW on this one target so Eclipse can focus on just Grumpy and LOD can focus on just TKR, etc. We'll check Dark Brotherhood's wars to learn for certain. And yeah, TS is chilling. What about Gato? Another important note is that some alliances have different blitz times. Or different, sorry, not blitz times, but different day changes. So your day changes when you can buy military units, when you can buy new military units. So you'd buy you'd buy as many military units as you can before day change. You would attack before day change. You would lose units before day change, and then day change would happen, and then you'd be able to replace those units with more of them. Whereas if you only attack after your day change, then the amount of units you can rebuy is less. So because people can now change when their day change is, based on their time zone, then people tend to make them later on. So most of the game has it at 00 universal time, like midnight universal time. But some alliances make it 2 a.m. universal time, so that they can counterattack more effectively. So it's possible EVH or Gato or Syndicate or Rose or Sing or whatever, all the other people that are militarized, it's possible they're actually waiting for a later day change. I doubt it, but it is possible. And Gator was doing nothing. EVH is doing nothing. And Dark Brotherhood is taking forever to load because they spammed their page with a bunch of high-res images. Very smart. What is happening in this chat? I cannot keep up with Royal whatsoever. I think they're just talking nonsense. UU and USN have joined. Oh, they joined the Penta super mess. Okay. Interesting. We'll take another look at this huge mess. Okay, so Dark Brotherhood has attacked the rest of the sphere. It isn't just Sword Coast. But they directed the DOW at just Sword Coast either to emphasize the point, like to really criticize them for leaking whatever they did, or it's to like spread out the DOWs and allow each of them to be focused. We'll see how that goes though. I guess we can talk about this. So I only learned about this thing like 20 or 30 minutes before it was signed, which is always the way. And yeah, we're slowly militarizing, I think, now as a response, because I don't know how the game is going to take that, but we'll find out together. It's strange in a few ways. So we'll start with the small ones. USN for some reason is now tied to the majority of Penta. UU is also now in the majority of Penta. This is unique because USN and UU were both considered almost politically toxic to some of the other members in Pentaforce. For context, I guess, USN is a communist or a socialist alliance, and UU is I guess sort of it's either a religious or more of a nationalist alliance. Most of their members are from like Pakistan, so like there are some tensions between them and the rest of the bloc. Regardless of what you think of why those tensions exist, they are there, and so them being included in this bloc speaks to how much they feel a need to consolidate and create these stronger treaties that involve everyone. That said, though, you still don't see some treaties being signed. So like UU and Name Withheld don't seem to have signed anything, and USN and Name Withheld haven't signed anything. So that'd be my guess as to who has disagreements with them, but it could also just be that their gov is slower to respond. Singularity and TGH treaties are interesting because they're MDPs, not MDOAPs. So that already gives us insight because it tells us that these are probably not going to be used offensively. And this treaty, being an MDOAP, is already in a different class. So we can probably deduce from that it's either unrelated to this, and that all of this tension is sort of an excuse to upgrade, or we can take it to mean that this treaty is just more versatile, right? That they can use it offensively if they want, rather than just defensively. I think TGH is also tied into this conflict. I'm going to check Dark Brotherhood's wars, because if DB was attacked first, there is an argument that they could call in TGH against TKR and House. I think TKR hit Eclipse first, and then LOD was hitting. Okay, yeah, if TKR hit... but it's an ODP. Okay, so we have some options. Alright, if we take it that Eclipse if House attacked Eclipse first, then we could say that Dark Brotherhood retaliating was acting on their optional defense pact. But if we ignore that again, we ignore the optional defense pact as something that hasn't been activated without a formal post or something. And that's very clearly a DOW by them on the forums. Okay, actually, never mind. If that's a DOW, then TGH can't enter. That's my understanding of it. I was trying to like figure out how that worked with the ODP, but I guess it could be simultaneously offensive and defensive. Whatever. I guess it's meaningless. Treaty chess is meaningless. Let's see what they're posting in the Orbis Central. Whatever. They're just arguing about the effectiveness of nukes. Oh, Eclipse DOW. Yes, let's check that out. Oh, and we have a bunch of DOWs. Damn, why wasn't I just refreshing? Okay. Interesting. Keva Royale. Interesting. I have noticed a bit of a trend recently. Who wants to see some more logs on the forums? Who wants to actually drop logs on the forums? I think that's based on the non-aggression pact discussions, where supposedly TKR, TS, and Eclipse were in discussions to sign a non-aggression pact for 3 to 6 months or whatever, and that would really isolate Rose and Singularity. But then, at some point, Eclipse changed their mind, and so did Syndicate, and they included Rose and Singularity, and they excluded TKR and Pentaforce. And yeah, in response to that, then TKR came out and said, "Oh, we never actually planned to sign that thing. So how could you betray us?" But I don't know. I think it wasn't well received, and there were lots of calls for people to drop logs. So they actually wanted to know for certain what TKR's plans were with that non-aggression pact. Who started it? Who was pushing it? Who was going to sign it? Who wasn't? And if TKR was being a hypocrite, or if they were being earnest. But every alliance in that discussion, no matter which logs got dropped, all of them were going to look bad. There was no universe where logs getting dropped would make any of them look stellar, right? It might make them look better, but it wouldn't make them look great. But yeah, TFP and a few people, I think they just randomly wanted the logs dropped. I remember there were TKR people who really wanted the logs dropped, and that would be the opposite of good for them. That would have really hurt them, to my understanding, having not seen some of the logs. A cloud of darkness has descended over the forums. Discussions have been titled "The End Times Are Near," but what is the solution to what ails us? Some would say it's democracy, but does it actually work? Yeah, TSC, I think, is a dictatorship. Okay, that's not nice. Roberts was pushing for more democracy in the game, so I guess that's just prodding them about that. And the Rose people were in a democracy, technically, so the fact they've moved to an alliance without democracy is funny. Should alliances force members from their host homeland and onto an alien and prehistoric communication platform? Okay, so that could either be a jab at TKR putting people on Slack, but I mean, TKR switched to Discord, so that doesn't really work anymore. It could be in reference to TKR telling people to join the forums and like upvote and stuff, which they have been known to do. Maybe, but I don't know. The forums are very dead. That seems like a joke you would make if you were avoiding them. That's very cool. Yeah, calling out hypocrisy. Yep, so that's poking fun at how TS switched sides. on the non-aggression pact front at the IA level. It's alright, lads, we won against Odo already. And Rick joined them. That is cool. There's another one like this. I think it's Irons or something. That he VMs every time his alliance is going to go to war. So if he joins, I think he joined EVH, or he joined one of their, like one of those alliances that are in between right now. He joined them and VM'd. So you can have a pretty good indication that these alliances are thinking about going to war, at the very least. They hinted it enough that he VM'd. Yeah, Henrik. Damn, he needs to join some alliances that are very likely to win. Fix that, that curse. At the EA level, he's City 34. Who is? Henrik? I don't know. But this dark age of failures, only a true hero can lead us to salvation. Okay, whatever. And that's a bunch of internal memes. Eclipse hereby declares a holy war against the house to spread the virtues of naps, democracy, and big money. Very interesting. These were not their worst memes. There were some bad ones in my opinion, but whatever. Congrats on winning the Who Can Kill a Game More competition. Bad moves justify your bad moves? That is a very interesting discussion of hypocrisy right there. Just because they were hypocrites doesn't mean Eclipse can be hypocrites. Actually, I don't know if that's even true. I think Eclipse has been rather consistent. Switch between 5 different prods to avoid being rolled. Ally TKR since they'll win the next war, get rolled anyways. Oh, is that why TSC switched? They thought that TKR would win. That makes some sense. After leaving next war, that does make some sense. Eclipse had been on a winning streak, so there was reason to believe that would end eventually. That's interesting. We need more discussion like this, instead of it just being conveyed through memes. What about Grumpy? Total eclipse of the heart. Last month Eclipse celebrated its 4th birthday, but they seem to have forgotten the fireworks. As we're all about to have a good time, we at the house have decided to rectify this oversight and throw you the least surprising surprise party ever. Seemingly you all want to swing out by our tables and test your luck, so we decided to bring them right to you with a little flair. And hopefully you kept those eclipse glasses. This is sure to be a bright affair. They must have put that through AI. I mean, there's no way they didn't. The house declares war on Eclipse and their buddies, and they've linked a music video. Is that all we get for the whole coalition? The house declares war. Yeah, I thought they would just be grumpy. That's very disappointing. I guess it's smart. As I said earlier, they actually have no reason to do a very engaging or interesting DOW. They kind of want this war to end quickly with no real like grudges being formed. So yeah, that makes sense. Well played. It's disappointing, but well played. I guess we can talk about 94. That is very cool. Okay, I think we're being more open about this. So, from the meme and the title, I think even a very basic understanding of the game's politics would lead you to believe that EVH was going to attack Pentaforce, probably as like a contingency with Eclipse, like I said in yesterday's video, because like if Pentaforce had hit Eclipse, that would have really complicated things for them, and it would have given Eclipse a real chance to lose. So EVH signing well would have deterred Pentaforce from striking first. It would have given them the ability to attack TKR if they needed to and win on that front. And yeah, they could also just attack Pentaforce. But yeah, seems like Singularity didn't want them to do that, and so they signed Pentaforce, and that prevents EVH from hitting Pentaforce without breaking the nap between the two, between them and Singularity. Or actually, the nap wouldn't be broken. But I think if I remember correctly, the nap works like this. Only the alliances that signed the non-aggression pact are in the non-aggression pact. But your MDPs take precedence over the non-aggression pact. So if EVH hit, Penta, then the rest of that, the rest of Singularity and TGH or whatever could respond and honor the MDPs over the nap. So yeah, this just blocked EVH. Unless they bring more firepower to bear against Pentaforce, I guess. So maybe we'll see some more interesting stuff from Syndicate or from Well later. I don't know how those treaties work or how close those spheres are. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, the title is just in reference to treaty chess. The idea that you sign treaties to block moves or create moves. So yeah, very cool. The people in Penta are probably like, like crying salvation, salvation, because this spared them from a pretty destructive war. Oh no, anyways. Yeah, this doesn't really ruin things for EVH. I mean, they can still hit TKR. That'll still be a very entertaining war. I mean, if anything, like probably the reason why they militarized would be to counter Penta, right? It'd be to prevent Penta being useful in this war. So, like this treaty chaos, I mean, Penta's not going to get involved now. I don't foresee it, at least. So I guess things worked out for them fine. If I were in their shoes, I'd be like, damn, that's annoying. But doesn't really bother me. I don't think there have been any more big DOWs. Okay, let's check some comments. So, Nokia passed to the DOW. Scepter Force. I was talking to them about that earlier. I was calling it Deca Force, or I think, was it Hector Force or something? I was looking up like what 7 or 9 is, like the variants, or like Tenta Force or something, but I don't think that's right at all. But yeah, I think the idea was it would be PIS. Someone said that, which is very fun. TKI hitting a prot 30 ranks below them is crazy. Who'd they hit as like a prot? I didn't see them hitting protectorates. Ain't no way someone got a reputation for VMing on wars. Yeah, well, they don't VM in wars, they VM before wars. So they don't get the bad reputation. And they're fine militarily, they just don't want to... They just want to be like a super large nation, and the only way you do that is through dodging the wars. So, I mean, I respect the play. Yeah, these grumpy old people need to get on with the times. The Carthago in them is still demanding them to blitz a day late. I mean, the Carthago in them is telling them to VM. Remember, Carthago VM'd their entire upper tier. The last time they were in a global war. Oh no, it wasn't the last time. A few global wars ago, they VM'd their entire upper tier. I was gonna say EVH would go after Penta. I mean, yeah. WAP DOW just dropped. Okay, I gotta check that. WAP also declared war on a TKR prot, Cult of Cthulhu. Isn't Cult of Cthulhu the Cypher exiles or remnants? I could imagine that they would have like a fair amount of grudges between different alliances. I don't know like why they would have one with WAP, but I could totally see them having a bunch of grudges. 30% of Rose is online, which is interesting. That is very interesting. That is slightly worrying. Though 30% of them being online is not much of a blitz. It's 60 people or something, which is impressive. But it's not like 80, so it won't be a very impressive blitz if they did something with that. TKR hit Magister. Okay. I mean, Magister, I think they're an M-level ally. Well, they were, and they've been downgraded. I mean, I would probably include Magister on Wells' side. There's probably no need to. Like, it's not a great move for TKR. Hurts their reputation a bit, antagonizes a fairly neutral alliance. But if Magister is talking trash, which they probably are, then fair enough. Hold up, I gotta poach everyone in the stream. Okay. RRL dropped the DOW and it's just 2 Google Doc files. Like wood dodging. If you join the Nun Alliance, you will be in a global war every day. So that is a trade I wouldn't make. This Kevo Royale, maybe it's through with Kev joining TKR's Noosphere. I think he joined the oldest house or something. There's a lot of his friends there at least. Let's see. Where is he? That's kind of a cool war flag. The oldest house. They always base their like alliance themes based on or they always make their alliance themes based on jokes or memes or like block puns. Soup kitchen, oldest house, trying to think of what the other ones were. The Enlightenment and stuff like that. Oh, Danny boy. I don't know who this is, really. Okay. I'm 80% sure they took that off some random website. Freelogos.com or something. No, not Libertas. Ugh. This could just get me banned from YouTube. Maybe I should try and avoid. Attachment is not available. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna avoid that. I'm kind of glad. It's possible that Google Docs are already banned immediately. A statement from the Weaponized Assault Building and Legal Legislation Subcommittee of Penguins regarding the House. Okay. That's a better meme than some. The subcommittee has determined conclusively that the House is guilty of inadequate... Okay, whatever. That's nonsense. And Cult of Cthulhu for a violation of the NAP by members of TKR and Cult of Cthulhu. The wars in question I listed below were said our hand was forced into this, but we have no choice. This is very clever. Okay, well done. This will be the the wars that were declared just before their change. That is so good. Someone had to use this. Someone had to use this. And very quick thinking on their part. If TKR responds to any of the DOWs, that is the only one that they can't actually respond to. Like, not really. Because they're just in the wrong. They could even use it later. Like, arguing that if they break a future NAP, it's in response to House breaking this one and setting a precedent. Well played, WAP. Well played. As Camelot, do you just chill calmly as chaos happens around you? I mean, usually. But if we were involved, I mean, I would probably be like sending out war chest and messages and militarizing and doing all that chaos. We had to do a little bit this morning, but not that much. I mean, if we were involved, I would probably also just like live stream my perspective on like how I'd coordinate stuff, because the types of coordination you can do, um, they're usually very transparent anyway. Like if you play perfectly, right, you coordinate everyone, you get people to launch attacks X time. If you play perfectly, they can't counter you. Like it doesn't matter if they know what you're doing. The game is 80% public. They can see your units, you can see their units. There's very few surprises. The only big surprise is political, which, I mean, that's not too hard to hide. So yeah, if we were involved, I would share my perspective of how it was going down and like how we were gonna fight it. That'd be pretty cool. Um, mm, yeah, the coordination is usually quite simple. Like if they have tons of aircraft, you talk to the other people attacking them and you choose when to airstrike for maximum damage, or you look at people's resources that are fighting them and you say, oh, this person doesn't have enough stuff. Let's break the blockade. Um, Stuff like that. Or you just tell people when your day changes so they know when you'll be able to rebuy. I mean, everyone in this game should have some military. Okay. We'll reload. We'll see what other people have done. No new wars. No new posts that I can see. We'll check on the Discord though, if anything's happening there. I think this is the only radio that's covering this thing, or stream, or whatever. I say that immediately. Immediately. People on Royal start joining. Damn. That is so rough. We're still outperforming them. They've got 15 people. We've got 16. Easy. Well, they're so late. How are they so late to the party? We've covered so much already. Oh, House Stark hit. Okay, that is interesting. Let's check that out. Who did House Stark hit? Drum roll. Actually, this is just going to take us to their main page, so we'll still have to switch to the war page. Loading times. I say as I have like 4 tabs open. In 3 to 6 years it will load. What did they say on the main post though? Okay, so House Stark is hitting Sword Coast, Immortals, TKR, etc. So they're against House. Very interesting. House Stark was doing like a lot of sort of propaganda work for House Stark, for not House Stark, for the House initially, by saying the non-aggression pact was stupid and ridiculous, etc. So the fact they're attacking House now is kind of strange, because it's like throwing all of that propaganda away, and it feels like they were more forced into this decision by Well. Like, why would they go against their values in punishing an alliance that's already exiled, unless they've changed their opinion over this, and they don't agree anymore. So that's also possible. Unlikely, but possible. It could have been that Well shared a bunch of like logs with them, and said like, no, like they are the bad guys. Let's see. We could listen into Lysander's thing a bit. I presume we're allowed to do that. What do people think? Yeah, all the non-involved people are gonna make like mad money. It'll be crazy. My guess is they'll make, I think it's an extra 10 or 20% just off resource sales. food is such a weird product right now. There's tons of it, so the price shouldn't change that much. But there's this like artificial scarcity where because radiation goes high and like people can't buy food as easily, um, like people presume the price will go up, and they won't sell until the price goes up, and so that forces the price to go higher. Um, yeah, it's a very strange event. No, no, I mean, if you were trying to sell your food today, you'd be selling it for like nothing extra. If you try and sell your food like a week from now, it won't go up either. It takes like 2 weeks into the war for food prices to actually like significantly jump, I think. Yeah, so this will probably hit like 170, I expect. Um, but it's doing that not because of food supply or demand. It's doing that purely because people expect food to rise during war. Because if you look at like the data visualization, total food over time, um, there is so much food. And if you look at the total players active in the last week, the player numbers haven't changed. And the number of cities hasn't drastically changed in the past few months either. Trying to find total cities. I don't think you can. But anyway, the total number of cities hasn't increased that much. The amount of food in the game has increased a lot. And when you're at war, your cities are actually bombed to lower infrastructure, which means the food demand placed on those coalitions is actually less. So the amount of food in the game isn't actually like the demand hasn't increased that much. It's maybe increased by 20% or whatever. It hasn't increased that much. And the supply is still insane. So yeah, food prices should actually stay the same or should budge by like 10 PPU. The fact that they moved by like 30 or 40 is purely like a player thing. Let's see what Lysander is saying though. He's hosting this in a public voice chat, so I presume people can listen in. Discord. I am chilling. I'm relaxed and all cool. He isn't saying anything. Damn. It's possible we'll see some debates between like FA heads and stuff, which we can cover. But I doubt it'll be instant. Oh no, they're bringing up GBH. Not again. There's some commentators that are kind of not that interesting. I'll be streaming some of the talk when it gets interesting. I mean, I'll link it and recap it, but I mean, most of it's just going to be nonsense. I guess I can share it. Yeah. Okay. They're not talking anything interesting, so I guess we'll catch up with them later.
for a Black Friday sale, and
I
then
hope,
we
can people hear
never
that?
get a better server, and
Let's
sometimes
see.
it gets worse. So we'll see if the game will actually load, but in the event it doesn't, I will be recollecting them from perfectly accurate, definitely not biased memory. I got like 3 Pootmere,
I
and I
can
had folks
switch
getting.
the...
Monty said he just got consistent 522. So glad you didn't, but you're on a different curve
There
than
we
the
go.
rest of us.
So we can listen in together, and I can comment on it, I guess.
Okay, so the big news of the night is we had Whelp and
I'm gonna
kind
reduce
of general
the
periphery
audio, and I'll probably add some ducking or something.
Blitz House. I
Oh cool, that is
believe,
auto ducking.
and this may be inaccurate, so I am going to rely on everyone to tell me. Yeah, allegedly. Eclipse, Legion of Dawn, Weebinism, Penguins, Dark Brotherhood, House Stark, the Commonwealth, KT, and Man I Love Frogs
Oh, I
are
completely
the
forgot about the
Whelp
frogs.
coalition.
Where are the frogs?
Magister Mortalis as well.
Oh, they're an EVH ally. I guess that makes sense.
Libertas, yeah. So there are a few prots for certain. And where is House? Oh, there they are. Okay. House is just your usual suspects: the Immortals, Sword Coast, Grumpy, the Knights Radiant, and then out of the blue. Well, I say out of the blue. When did this get posted? Let's see. As
I wish I could speed this up. Whenever I listen to these radios from them, which is
8:20
very rarely,
p.m.
I'll do it on like 2 or 3
So
times speed.
after House got blitzed, the Lost Minds signed TKR and joined on House's side.
Shocking. This is totally new news. Fantastic.
So,
You know,
hey,
I'm gonna say something about this.
You can just switch to me. I mean, I'll cover this.
Not gonna help him or
I
change
won't
the
talk
war
about it very
dynamic
often
whatsoever.
unless they're not saying anything interesting,
I'm glad
which is
that
what they're saying
someone
right
gave
now.
House Stark, sorry, I'm a bit total idiot. TLM a chance. Yeah, I'd also want to give House Stark a chance too. But I'm glad someone gave TLM a chance. And
How is
I'm
he
even
silent?
more glad it's us.
I'm happy to see that they got involved.
And I obviously would also love to see someone give House Stark a chance.
Very cool. Happy to see they got involved.
Well,
no
House
discussion
Stark was
of
given a chance
why they
where
got
it were
involved.
as well, so count it what you will. Additionally, and we're just kind of overviewing everything that happened, and then we'll dive in a little more. We'll just pull some people from the audience. I don't know if certain people are available to talk. I know several people.
That is the one advantage they have, is they can actually pull
on
people
drugs,
that are
Valini,
involved.
and so
I don't get
we'll
along
see
with lots
who's
of people that are
available.
involved in this
Dama will
conflict.
be joining us at some point.
So I'm not really going to
DB
be able
did
to
join on Whelp's
interview
side.
him.
Yes, the moat, yeah.
All of our people, I would imagine, now are on drugs currently.
Who is in this conversation that could actually provide an interesting perspective?
We also had a few different things
Bellini.
occur.
I think
Legion
that's it.
of Dawn signed Event Horizon. KT upgraded Event Horizon. I believe the Dark Brotherhood with Eclipse new. It came across as new in the treaty.
Dark Brotherhood and Eclipse have been signed for a while. It's not new.
Bunch of new treaties there. And then you also had United Socialist Nations and United UMA signed into Pentaforce. Oh, you guys forgot to refresh it. Okay. Signed into Pentaforce, and then all of Pentaforce signed the Golden Horde and
I don't think
Singularity.
that's accurate. I think the treaties came from TGH
So
and saying. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't.
very,
It could be the
very
other way around.
interesting stuff.
Just from how the treaties are fired off, right? Like you would send it from like that one alliance, you wouldn't send them.
Yeah,
like
that's
like
the
weird
general overview. I am currently looking for something that I remember occurring that I need to refresh myself on, because if it did not in fact happen, I am going to be very sad. But let's,
It's code word for
GVH, you're
him
here. Let's
saying
hear
that there
your
should be more
opinion.
wars, I guess. I know some alliances
So,
must have
I'll
like
start with the-
decided
the,
not to attack or
least
to attack some people.
important thing.
Actually,
For
I'm gonna
some
hide
strange reason,
the window for a minute and I can
was
check on some Camelot
contacted
stuff.
very recently by a member of Pentaforce Gov, one of their alliances, who I don't know whether it was authorized, and if it was authorized, I don't know why the hell they decided to speak to me, because I'm only like mid-gov in Grumpy. I've got FA level, but no, I haven't.
Okay,
I'm not
no,
like a gov
no
member.
stuff.
Who, for some strange reason, he wanted to contact me regarding wanting to sign an M level with House.
What?
This singular gov member of Pentaforce messaged me in Discord wanting to sign an M level with House. Naturally, I brought that up to House leadership, and they thought that was a bad idea because Pentaforce were going to be attacked by Singularity rather than defended by them. So I have
Okay.
no idea in the least what was going on with that guy. If he wants to make himself known, I'm not going to do it myself, but if he wants to make himself known, then he's welcome to and explain what the fuck that was about.
Okay, so there was one member of Pentaforce which may have wanted to sign House
I was hoping
to avoid them getting rolled by Singularity. I doubt that. I mean, Singularity and them were trading back like, we're not gonna fight. We're not gonna fight.
I thought that was. I didn't think that
There were lots of spheres doing that, so I doubt it.
I brought up in conversation with.
It's possible the gov member didn't know what he was doing, because there were like members that were like trying to like. I think they were trying to hire ARG or something. Or like, I don't know. There were like chaos going on with the membership. They were trying all sorts of stuff. With House and with Sing and with I think Pentaforce was just really confused and very afraid. See, I don't think that's reflective on the block. I think that's just reflective on membership. I can respect it too from the member level. The like members would be concerned and that they would try and act on their own.
The rest of anything that went on is completely expected. The only thing that might worry me is Event Horizon. Don't know what their game is. And
Yo, welcome Singularity person.
Wars 6 weeks in advance. So the fact I don't know what Event Horizon's game is worries me.
Well, we will see what happens. The Pentaforce stuff.
I think the Sing DW told us exactly what EVH's game was. I mean, that wasn't. They literally made a meme of it. Like they just told us what they were doing.
I think something may happen or may not. I think a lot of stuff is up in the air right now, given how things shifted and occurred. But
I think Royal's analysis is just terrible.
I think the major thing that everyone knew was going to happen was the Whelp v. Odu war. That was, now that it's happened, I think it's fairly easy to say that about 95% of the game knew that was going to happen, if not more. The rest of this is all up in the air, and we'll see what comes of it. But I know the tiering for the war it's changed since I last looked. The tiering is actually not wildly in Whelp's favor. Let me
Who's
see.
posting an inquiry?
You'll have to excuse the coughing. I am evidently not well.
That is amazing. Cool. Thank you, person. We have a new tiering chart for the
Yeah,
conflict.
but I don't know if I
Um,
trust Thamonia's sheet, Melanie. It's Thamonia. It seems to be pretty solidly in Whelp's favor.
Actually, is Mystery still online?
Although that 45
He's
to
not.
49 block that House has
I'm just gonna post it here.
intimidating.
That is such a nice sheet. Okay, I'm gonna switch this back on because we
So
wanna
I think you
analyze
folks
this.
stand a chance,
Here we go.
GVH,
So
especially given the...
I'm gonna mute Royal because they're talking nonsense right now. Okay, here we go. Actually, I need to mute them on my end too. There you go. Headphones off. There. Now I can think. So who's gonna win? House has really strong numbers at City 30. Wow. Okay, that is actually very strong. Okay, so Well is going to secure the very high tier, City 55 plus. Easy W there. They can also push down to the City 50s. So my guess is if Well is active, they will win everything above City 44. Everything below that is going to be more contentious, at least initially. City 40 probably goes even. City 38, 37, 36. Okay, so those guys are going to be down declaring. This is going to be very, very close. Okay, it all depends. It all depends on the City 27 to 30 range. If those people can up declare and do a serious amount of damage in the City 32 to 37 range, I think House can actually win. Because the City 55 to 50 people, or City 55 to 47 people, can't actually affect much of what's below them. Like they'll affect 3 to 4 wars below them, but not that many. They're gonna be busy securing their own tier, whereas most of these City 30s, they're gonna be free to roam. So if House plays well, they win this. At least in my view, they win this. But yeah, it'll be close. Very close. Let's say though, let's do some hypotheticals. So option 1 will say that the City 30s don't perform well and House loses everything above City 30. In that scenario, I think they still have a good shot at winning the low tier because of the City 28 to 25 range. Or 28 to 22 range, sorry. So they usually have good odds of winning the low tier. Especially with groups like TLM, I think, which are probably more experienced in the low tier than the other side. And like they can focus more of their energy there. Another scenario we could go with is that the City 30 side performs really well, in which case then TKR can probably push up to like City 35, 36. But they will have a very hard time going above 40. At least in the first week or two. That would be my guess. I'm going to hide this and talk to someone for 2 seconds. I don't know. I think Ron is beating me in the numbers, unfortunately, right now. Oh, that's so disappointing. Tragic. Actually, let's see what I'm doing in numbers. Yeah, I'm consistent, I guess. That's not bad. Consistency is not that bad. Okay, we'll tune back into Royal. I'm just going to switch this back on. Okay.
As an opportunity to make a dent, Alexios, is the point that I'm making. But odds are they will not be able to unless they can cohesively pull the block together.
I think that block is completely meaningless
to
in
what
this
I was
conflict. This is
saying
a
before
high tail
you
war.
went on a worthless tangent here.
And City 30 even.
Lost Mine signing TKR, good for them. I imagine it is kind of, it's TKR, good on them, as you said, GVH, for taking a look at the Lost Mines and giving them a shot. It's important that that happens every so often so that in the event somebody does level up, they get that chance to prove it. But
what do you mean chance to prove it?
We'll
Wasn't
see.
It just
I mean,
MVP?
they have an opportunity now during the war. And
it's an MVP.
Really, by throwing themselves into the war, they've done well to prevent themselves from becoming a target since they were left out of the map extension. It's not
people could have hit
that
them,
they become a target,
maybe, but like I don't think most people would have risked it because they were allied to WTF and COA.
It's less likely that they're going to get hit by somebody else.
Usually that's true. I just don't think that's like notable in this conflict.
For them and good for TKR on giving them a shot, even if it is.
Yeah, I think TKR gave them a lot, but I don't think that's in credit to TKR. If anything, that speaks to how bad TKR's position is right now, that they're giving TLM an MDP without them having proved themselves. That's 300,000 score added to their spear. That's a huge amount of numbers they will have to deal with post-war. That's one new major alliance they can't sign.
We have lost GVH already. Well, this is unfortunate.
It's a huge win for TLM, but like not for TKR. Like not necessarily.
No worries.
Short term, yeah, but long term, no.
Signing Singularity and TGH.
This will be interesting. What are his opinions on Penta TGH? We'll hear the whole thing and then we'll make a judgment call on it.
Singularity were about to attack Penta. I obviously wasn't focusing on this because I knew what was going to happen with Eclipse.
Why would Singularity hit Penta? Like, what's the logic?
Well, yeah, I guess I'm happy that Penta aren't going to be attacked. They all seem like good people, but I don't have strong opinions on it either way. Unless they attack us.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, they do. Then.
Remains to be seen what's going to happen. I know Rose militarized. I imagine they'll sit there for a bit and then.
I still think EVH is thinking of rolling them. I think Sing's DOW points to EVH trying to roll them. Yeah.
I don't know what the potential future plan is relating to the Pentaforce Cis half merger. Might just be that there
was I saying House had a bad mid-tier? Or was Royal or whatever? House has a good mid-tier. They outnumber them in the City 30 range. But if House underperforms in the mid-tier, that will lose them the war. if they like overperform in the mid tier, I think that will win them the war. So, which is kind of cool. And actually, when I was initially looking at the war, I thought it would be only determined in the high tier. And after looking at the numbers more closely, with all these different parties involved now, I think the City 30 range will actually be a bigger factor. Though, I mean, EVH could at any point join the war. They have all these ties to Well now. And I think they will if Well is looking to lose. Looking like they're going to lose.
But they wouldn't identify themselves.
What?
Okay, yeah, sorry. There's a lot going on right now. But the patrol went okay. Nothing really happened.
Okay, I think Thelma's going through he's going through some stuff. Need to wake up. Cool. He's going through some stuff, and we'll cut back to them in a bit. CIS plus House versus Well plus Sale, which would mean Rose winning the growth. That would be interesting. I don't think we'll see that for a few different reasons. Because like TS didn't build soldiers. And I think CIS House versus Well Sale is just such a huge loss. Like CIS is way weaker than Sale, and Well is, I think, a fair bit stronger than House. Like they're still the favorite to win that. Oh, Tartarus is on.
It's a little loud here.
He asked who you're fighting against.
Oh, I declared war on 2 Grumpy members and a TKR member.
You shouldn't attack Grumpy members.
Okay, so he's fighting TKR and Grumpy. Interesting.
Well, let me turn you up here.
So we'll give Falmor a second to try to establish a safe zone. Tartarus, you came on to address the Pentaforce Singularity TGH treaty. So if you
Okay, this will be interesting. What is our block's perspective on this?
Well, actually, was there a question you wanted to ask about, or did you just want me to say why?
If you'd like to say why, and then if you'd be willing to address whether this is just a short-term thing for whatever reason you signed it for, or whatever, that would also be appreciated.
Sure. So we got some information that Penta was being hit, and well, hit by EVH, and thought, fuck it, we're gonna cuck them. And that's pretty much it.
It's so
There's
good.
not much more to it.
And do you plan to hold the treaty for a while?
It's not exact. Oh, it's not long term. But it would be very awkward. It would be very awkward if we dropped it, let's say, tomorrow, and then they get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So for a duration until you feel either EVH has been sufficiently cucked, or until Penta is no longer in this state of danger.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's diplomacy at work, folks.
Interesting. Okay, well, I appreciate you talking about that. I find it interesting that occurred. It seems like this is, what is this? This is 2 for 2 now?
If you look back at what CTO did last year, then it's really tit for tat. Like they did the same thing to us that we just did to them.
Could you, what specific, I'm having trouble recalling.
So context on that, because they're going to take ages.
I mean, we buried all that. Like there's no CB outstanding, let's say. But when that was all upgraded, they cucked us. So
yeah, they prevented the hit on KT. Yep.
I see. Yes. Okay, I remember what you're talking about. So yeah, and then following this kind of stuff, I don't know if they expect to be hit or if they're pulling in folks to figure. Again, can't really say what the plan is, but EVH has since signed Legion of Dawn and upgraded KT.
I think
there
that
may
was
have been
actually
something
unrelated.
else, but I think that was
I think
it.
the EVH stuff was completely unrelated. Or it was like tangential. Like it was a step in the process.
On this, I guess, and then either there will be a new war or
Hold on. Did
EVH will go ahead.
did Event Horizon just hit Penta?
What? No
Season
way.
Wars.
God damn it.
Event
they
Horizon did just hit Penta.
Son of a.
Oh, it's
Oh, no.
Well, okay. Let's put it this way: one
That's not
member
good.
from Event Horizon has hit Penta. We will
Oh, it
see
is.
whether
It's only
that
one guy.
evolves into
Thank you.
more than one, or if it is just one member that has
like your basic Carthago Blitz, so maybe.
Oh, I'm praying right now. Don't launch any more attacks. I don't want to militarize.
So we will
Peace.
we will see whether this we will monitor the situation. But no, it appears that one
That is so
member of
entertaining.
EVH has hit Penta. So a Gov member, apparently. Wow.
I think it'll
It's
be
incredible.
Logov.
I love this.
If he wasn't Logov before, he's
Good for
Logov
him.
now.
Having the balls to do what's right in his eyes. We'll see what happens. That's pretty funny. Either, I mean, it's entirely possible too that, yeah, it's possible one of two things. Either he went on the orders that were previously there and missed a do not attack order, or EVH is going to launch in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're on
And
That'll be the bet.
he went early.
Yep. Turn changes in 30 minutes, so that'll be like we'll check in game just to show it.
Either of those are
Let me
possibilities.
catch it too. Here we go. 30 minutes into the next turn change. I think 100% he's just seen a blitz sheet and he's gone in early. Because you
But
send out a
thank
blitz
you,
sheet like 30
Tartarus.
minutes.
I am
50
going to
minutes early.
move to
Yeah.
get the
Damn,
one
that's
and
so
only
annoying.
Thalmor's opinion, and assuming he hasn't
There's
been
like 30 minutes of diplomacy
bunker
left.
bombed
So
yet,
I would hope that there's
get
like
his
people trading
opinion
messages
on
right
these
now and they can
goings
get
on.
this solved.
But I appreciate you coming on
That is
to
so disappointing.
clarify, and then I will probably talk about that briefly again after having spoken with Thalmor.
Oh, I've got to bounce, so I won't be back on. But I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you,
well.
and thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
He's either busy IRL or he's about to just go right into the back channels to prepare for the counter blitz.
Yep, see ya. Are you still alive? Have you managed to fend them off?
That was such an entertaining, 10 minutes where you literally got the explanation and then immediately an attack.
Good. I'm glad your Eastern Kentucky mountain bunker has held up strong so far.
Indeed.
So
you wanna? I can. Oh yeah, go on.
I'm just whenever you're ready, go off, King. Whatever you want to do here. This is the floor is yours. So.
All right. I just want to say, obviously, as a KT member, I guess it's like, why did KT get into this war? I can tell you why we declared war. It's because TKR broke an app about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. A TKR member no doubt at the direct coordination of TK High Gov, attacked Eclipse. Eclipse activated their M level, and we just went in. Okay, TK broke the nap. We are shocked and appalled at this behavior, and justice had to be done. So that's why we went in. War seems to be going pretty good. I'm flacking and lapping 2 grumpy members and TKR member. I am unslotted for now. I anticipate remaining that way, but who knows? Who knows?
They broke exactly 0.3% of their non-aggression pact. The final 5 minutes.
It's like Singularity and Golden Horde allied into that one block. I have no opinion, except that part of the treaty web does look like a bunch of spaghetti, and that's really funny. If you're fucking hungry, okay, I'm gonna fucking go dash a pizza after seeing that. All right. I have no opinion. Guys, I have a question. I need help. I need help real bad here. The Knights Templar has an M level with an alliance called the Event Horizon. Who are they? Who is my ally? I don't know who they are. Can someone enlighten me?
Do you genuinely not know?
That is tragic.
No,
Mystery needs to talk more. Oh, one less. I'm kidding. Other people need to talk more.
Carthago
There
and
you go.
Aurora.
Yep, Carthago and Aurora.
Carthago and Aurora's Event Horizon isn't a 50-50 anymore. Some people still talk like it's 50-50, but it's not. Carthago now has 2/3 of the leadership because Alex, it was Alex, G, the Dead Rabbits guy, and Evil Piggy, which was Carthago. And they were all meant to have 25% of the power, but then the Alex guy stepped down. So Aurora only has 33%, and then the 2 people from Carthago, the Dead Rabbits guy and Evil Piggy, have the other 66%. So in my view, EVH is just Carthago now, which is really cool if you think about it, because Carthago went from a year ago being a completely dead, isolated alliance with no potential, no possibilities. Their war reputation was terrible. Their economic situation was terrible. They were at the worst point they'd been, and then they bounced back and they got a merger with Dead Rabbits, got into the top 10 again, and now they've merged with Aurora, and now they're a top 2 alliance, and they have most of the power there. So well played. Very well played. I could be wrong about that, but that's my assessment from a distance.
Well, is there anything that you would like to kind of cover up here? Did you have any opinion or thoughts on the Lost Minds siding TKR and joining the war on House's side?
What's the lore there? I know they got the yellow lines on the treaty web, but is there? I saw them being ducked on though by Eclipse. What's the full story there?
For who? The Lost Minds?
I thought it was the Sword Coast. I thought Eclipse was shooting on the Sword Coast in the declaration of war. Am I just schizophrenic? Again, I don't know what's going on. I just click buttons and do my show, and that's it. I don't know. I see people. I don't know what alliances are in Penta. I don't know what Penta even is. I think it's a block. I am so out of it.
Oh boy. Sounds like Valeni has shared whatever he's on with the Almor.
Bro, it's like Vass was on drugs, Acidus is on drugs, a bunch of even government members were drinking before the Blitz. Okay, we're having a good time over here, as always. All right, you cannot not have a good time when you're with the Templars.
It's 20 minutes to EVH's potential blitz now, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to be. I'm going to be the only family-friendly stream here. Yeah, 0-0 blitz it.
that, and I think this is actually going to end up being a fairly straightforward show.
That's all they wrote? They're gonna call it 20 minutes before EVH's like potential hit? That is so disappointing. Wow.